Today I am focusing on vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 it comes in various forms, which I'll mention a little bit later. Um, it is cyanocobalamin, methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin, and there's one other. But yeah, I'll have a look now. I think it's with a adenosicobalamin. Okay. Welcome. Today I'm focusing a bit on vitamin B12, and yeah, I'm just going to mention a few facts. I'm also learning more. So, what does the vitamin B12 do in our bodies? It helps to create red blood cells, building DNA, and keeping our nervous system healthy. It is absorbed in our bodies in a unique way. In our stomach, the acid helps to release vitamin B12 from the food we eat, which is mostly from meats, animal products. And a special protein in our stomachs called intrinsic factor binds to the vitamin B12, and then it is taken up in our intestinum, in our small intestine, in the combined form, and then it passes into our blood, into our blood circulation. Core bodily functions include, so that is what I mentioned earlier, but it's a bit more in detail, red blood cell production, helping bone marrow to make healthy cells that carry oxygen through the body, DNA synthesis, acting as a key helper molecule to create and repair genetic material in every cell. Then nervous system maintenance. I don't know if you know, but the nerves are covered with a myelin, I somewhat call it a myelin sheath. It's like a covering over the nerves to ensure that brain to body signaling happens effectively. And the other day I watched a video and the man had a electric cord and he showed the insulation on top of the cord, and if that insulation disappears or it gets damaged, then there can be an electrical short circuit or something like that, and then those signals don't happen in the way it should, if you can think about the nerve now. And then homocysteine regulation. Homocysteine can worsen things like cholesterol, and so it works. Homocysteine regulation works with other vitamin B12, works with other B vitamins to break down this amino acid to keep blood vessels healthy. Then sources of vitamin B12, as I said earlier, it's mostly from meat. Organ meats are the best. Beef liver and kidneys contain exceptionally high concentrations of vitamin B12. Then fish, sardines and salmon, which is also great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Then grass-fed beef and chicken breast provide also steady amounts for daily energy production. Dairy products, milk, yogurt, and Swiss cheese, which offers a higher absorption rate compared to meat. And then eggs, whole eggs, provide a reliable vegetarian-friendly dose of vitamin B12, especially in the yolk. So, and then vegetarian and vegan sources. You get the fortified nutritional yeast, and I only tasted it now recently. It really does taste a bit like Parmesan cheese, and it's a popular plant-based cheese alternative, heavily supplemented with vitamin B12, and then fortified breakfast cereals. But also be careful when choosing these breakfast cereals to make the right choice. But many of them are also infused with 100% of your daily B12 value. Then older adults, usually individuals over 50 years, experience a reduced absorption of vitamin B12 from natural food sources due to lower stomach acid. Sorry, got a bit of music in the background. Thank you. And then, so the vitamin B12 is not absorbed in the way it should because of, there's not enough acid in the stomach. And this often creates a focus, often necessitating a greater focus on fortified foods or supplements. So these people must focus on taking their supplements. And then vegetarians and vegan diets require fortified foods as well to meet their nutritional goals or take supplements. And then just quickly wanted to look at some other reasons why absorption might not happen in the way it should. It could also be because of gastric bypass. I also saw that with the vitamin B1. Atrophy of the stomach, gastritis, Helicobacter pylori infection, stomach ulcer, stress-induced, if you have a deficiency in zinc, tapeworms, health conditions that affect nutrient absorption, basically, or if your diet is not good. Then problems of absorption can be associated with problems of the stomach, small or large intestine. And if you take things like aspirin, probably continuously, and alcohol, can also cause a B12 deficiency, eating a lot of junk food, taking antibiotics, and because I know some of the bacteria in your gut can also help to produce vitamin B12. Antacids, because then you don't have enough acid in your stomach, contraceptives, and we must also remember that pregnant and lactating women need to increase their vitamin B12 intake. And if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, you might also have a folate deficiency because they work together. If the one is deficient, then you might have, you're going to have similar symptoms if either one of them is deficient. Then what is important, not important, it's interesting for me, is that smokers, when they smoke, they inhale cyanide. And if you take cyanocobalamin, so this is one of the forms of the vitamin B12. You get it in that form. This is the man-made form. Then what happens is the cyanide, I'm actually still coming to it, but the cyanocobalamin needs to be changed inside your body to methylcobalamin. So that happens normally. But if you smoke, then the methylcobalamin that is formed goes and binds to the cyanide that's taken in through the smoking, and then you actually don't get the vitamin B12 that you think you are getting in. So then you can also become deficient. You might think that you are taking in vitamin B12, but it's actually not doing anything. Yeah, so a reason to quit smoking then. And then polymorphism, it has to do with genes and gene-related MTHFR. There's a problem with if there is a problem with one of your genes, and it doesn't, or there is a problem with the enzyme it produces, and this is the enzyme that helps to convert folate and vitamin B12. It's actually folic acid, to convert folic acid into folate and to convert cyanocobalamin into methylcobalamin. So you might also take your supplements, and it might be in those forms, but you won't get the benefit because your body won't be able to let that process happen. And then, yeah, it can actually become toxic, I believe. Yeah, it is said that you must avoid folic acid, and you must rather get the folate version or the methylcobalamin version and not the cyanocobalamin. Yeah, and then I think I should. Where did I put that page? Okay. Yeah, I just quickly wanted to say more a bit about if your body is not able to form the red blood cells that it should form by either a shortage of folate or vitamin B12, then you get abnormal cells. And these cells are oversized, fragile cells called megaloblasts. Yeah, the shortage of those vitamins can stop proper cell division. And then you have anemia, and that is when you have a lack of red blood cells, normal red blood cells, because these large cells die quickly and they struggle to leave the bone marrow. They lead to low red blood cell count and low energy. And yeah, the red blood cells isn't able to carry oxygen to all of your body tissue, and yeah, then you have anemia, and this happens especially. We also had a look at those causes. Celiac disease. It also has to do with absorption. Biliary atresia. Biliary atresia. It has to do with the ducts that goes to the liver. It's blocked or it's missing in infants. Crohn's disease, cystic fibrosis, and then pernicious anemia is when your body is missing the intrinsic factor, which is needed to absorb the vitamin B12 from foods. Then, so vitamin B12 is an essential nutrient, which means that we must get it in through our diets. And if we don't get it in, or we are deficient, most often the symptoms is there isn't any symptoms. It's mostly asymptomatic. It develops very slowly. You might become tired and have neurological issues like pins and needles in your hands or your feet, and then maybe cognitive changes. As we said, how are we going to make the problem better? Is by taking your diet. Just eat better. Your oral supplements. Yeah, you get a lot of different vitamin B supplements on the market, but it is important to make sure that you get it in the right form. I think I've left the most important page at the back. And yeah, through injections. They also inject vitamin B12. And yeah, as I said, the symptoms of a deficiency emerge gradually, but it can worsen if you leave it untreated. Just a few more symptoms include physical, extreme fatigue. That's probably when it gets very bad. Weakness, shortness of breath, pale skin, and a sore, beefy red tongue. I think I've. Sometimes your tongue is sore and then you wonder what is happening. Neurological, numbness, as I said, numbness or tingling of the hands and feet, balance issues, difficulty walking, psychological memory loss, brain fog, confusion, mood changes like depression and irritability. And yeah, and the causes, we went through all the causes, dietary restrictions, pernicious anemia, where the intrinsic factor isn't there, helping with the absorption of the vitamin B12, and then all the malabsorption issues that we get. It is also said that the use of metformin might have an effect. I don't know if it's been proven, but yeah. And then, I should probably mention it then. And then toxicity, exposure to toxins like nitrous oxide is one of them. And then how are you going to know if you have a deficiency except for, going to when you go to the doctor now and you ask him, look, what is the matter? He's going to uh, do blood tests. It's going to test they can test your amount of red blood cells or your vitamin B12 or folate. Yeah. Treatment, we talked about the treatment. And then some more about the deficiency. I think I went through all of them. Some of the, we must maybe also just remember that vitamin B12 also supports our spinal column and our brain. Well, the brain has been mentioned, but if you leave it unchecked, you can get permanent damage and of your nerves, and you can have chronic pain because of nerve damage and depression and muscle wastage. And then there's other symptoms of a deficiency as well: blurry vision, tinnitus, is that ringing in your ear, mouth ulcer, sore throat, and even hair loss. Hair loss is another one. Then I quickly want to tell you about the cyanocobalamin, these different forms. Okay, so you get, I've also always wondered about it. So you get the cyanocobalamin and the methylcobalamin and the hydroxycobalamin and adenosine. So the cyanocobalamin is the man-made one in the lab, and it consists of a cobalt atom and a tiny cyanide group, making the molecule very tough and stable on store shelves. So it's actually to keep it, like many foods that we eat also, that has ingredients that is you sometimes have to wonder about, just to make it stable on the shelf. So our body must remove the cyanide and convert the cyanocobalamin into an active vitamin, into the methylcobalamin, basically. So there's a conversion step that takes place in the liver and cells for it to become active. And it leaves your body fast through the urine, and it has a lower tissue retention than natural types. It's the least expensive one that you get. Then methylcobalamin stays in the body better. It is more expensive. It is natural or active coenzyme format. Yeah, it's a natural form found in meat, fish, eggs, and milk. It is already active, and your body can use it right away without needing to change it. Hydroxycobalamin has a long half-life, and it's a natural form produced by bacteria. Bacteria make it in the gut, and it's also grown in labs for medicinal use. The body easily turns it into both methylcobalamin and adenosine. So there's the adenosine. Um, and the hydroxycobalamin is also used for cyanide poisoning because it binds to the cyanide and making it inactive. Interesting. And this one, the hydroxycobalamin is usually in an injectable form. Um, then, yeah, what was interesting was that the cyanocobalamin can become toxic in your body if it was said that a lot of the supplements that we get on the shelf has 8,000 to 14,000% more than the recommended daily allowance. Yeah, so but the natural form can't become toxic. Yeah, so because your body has to, yeah, it's probably you just take in more than you should if it's in that form sometimes. So we must just check the labels. I don't know. I haven't checked the products, and so we must just make sure. And yeah, if you do get the toxicity, it can also cause things like acne, palpitations, anxiety, red skin in the face, red cheeks, headaches, insomnia, akathisia. And that is when a person becomes or is very restless. So they can't sit still. They have this feeling of intense agitation, feeling suicidal. It's not a good feeling, I suppose. And then, was there something else? Yeah, I think we know how you become deficient already. And yeah, as I think I didn't mention that vitamin B, the safety of vitamin B12, but it depends on the form that you get in. But the regular methylcobalamin is water soluble. The body generally excretes excess amounts through urine, and no established upper intake limit has been defined. But they also say that the recommended daily allowance for adults is 2.4 micrograms, and older people, as we said, might need more because of absorption problems. So they might need 10 to 12 micrograms. Yeah, I also mentioned that vitamin B12 and folic acid work together. They need it for cells in the bone marrow to divide and form healthy red blood cells. And vitamin B12, I think I made a mistake earlier because the vitamin B12 actually activates the folic acid by removing a chemical group so that the folate can be used to build genetic material. So the vitamin B12 changes the folic acid. Yeah, I'm thinking about that genes. but the gene probably, you must probably just make sure that you don't take the cyanocobalamin. It must be the natural form. And then large, abnormal, and weakened. Yeah, I think I've got a little bit. I've lost my way a little bit here. Something to work on. But yeah, I think that is enough about vitamin B12 for today. I hope that everybody has learned something. I hope that I've explained it well enough. I think I've learned something. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Go well. Bye. Let me know if you have any deficiencies that you know of, or maybe anything interesting to share. Go well.